Hands up who's watched the leaders' debates. Me. Hands up who's noticed there's only been two leaders and most of them me. In fact, I've done quite a few of them over the years and there's only been two leaders and most of those too. So after 6, we're joined by James Shaw of the Greens, Marama Fox of the Maori Party and David Seymour of ACT. Winston Peters wasn't available to discuss the policies they think matter most, who they think will win and actually to take stock of their own chances. We also had cake, which was delicious. All of that at some length after 6 o'clock, and we do recommend it because we hope you will learn something. But before 6, some quick fire questions. We began with David Seymour's end-of-life choice bill. Who's going to support it? James Shaw?
I'm going to support it through to Select Committee. In fact, Green Party policy is almost exactly that. We've got to see how the bill plays out, but definitely get it into Select Committee.
Marama?
No, I'm not a supporter of the bill. I have talked to David about it at length and to whānau about it. I think that if it gets to Select Committee, and we're supportive of hearing the submissions that will come.
David, obviously you're a supporter of it. Why, in 15 seconds?
Oh, because it's just wrong that in 2017 we allow people to commit amateur violent suicide, we let people refuse food and medicine and suffer to the bitter end, we let doctors give you a little bit too much morphine, but we don't give people a choice when they're suffering at the end of their life. OK, child poverty is suddenly central to the election campaign. Bill English is going to reduce it if he's Prime Minister by 100,000 over 3 years. I know James Shaw, the Greens, said the same thing 6 years ago. What is the single most important thing that can be done to reduce child poverty, David Seymour? You've got to build more houses. If you don't build more houses, we might as well forget it.
Marama Fox?
You need to pay a living wage and index it to the median wage, so every time that goes up, so does the living wage as a minimum.
James Shaw?
You have to fix the housing market, and you also have to do something about incomes, because at the moment people are struggling to make ends meet on even minimum wage jobs. Half the people who are living in cars and garages have jobs.
Is the health sector performing, the public health sector performing, and if not, what is the response? James Shaw?
Broadly speaking, it is. There are some real deficiencies, particularly in the area of mental health, and that is why that is such a big issue in this election campaign.
Marama Fox?
Mental health is completely screwed. You cannot get the support you need inside the mental health system right now. That needs a huge overhaul, and rural access to vital and essential services like dialysis, like chemotherapy, and GP services, actually.
David Seymour.
Look, for the amount of money we put in, we get pretty good health care in New Zealand. Remember, the Australians spend about 30 or 40% more for what they get, but we do need to consolidate those DHBs. Having 20 in such a small country is ridiculous, but ultimately it comes down to economic growth, so we can afford the drugs, the medical equipment and the healthcare professionals that can move around the world very easily.
It is about priority of spending, though. I mean, you can get as much money into the government coffers as you like, but if you don't prioritise it, it doesn't go.
I just edited that bit out.
Just edit that bit out.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, the Minister of Broadcasting.
Low value contribution.
Hold on.
These guys are the parties of government.
Wait, that's why you're not.
This is how much fun being in government is.
Stop. Capital gains tax, who supports it?
Yes, absolutely.
On what, James Shaw?
Comprehensive capital gains tax. That's the only way to remove
on the family home?
No, not on the family home. On investment properties and other asset classes, because you've got to remove the bias in the tax system and level the playing field.
Marama Fox?
No, only if it comes in after a second or third home, because that's somebody's savings towards their pension. That's why mums and dad Kiwis get a second and third investment home, because otherwise they can't afford their pension.
David Seymour?
Look, the reality is we actually have one. If you buy and sell homes with the intention of making a profit, you've got to pay tax on that. But the real problem is we're not building enough homes, the price is going up, and if prices go up 100 grand a year, no one cares if there's a 30% tax on that. They're still making 70 out of speculation. We have to fix the housing market, then we won't care about the CGT.
I agree with that.
OK, I need these answers to be tight, otherwise I won't get to you. OK, so what is the biggest problem facing New Zealand right now, Marama Fox?
Inequality.
Housing market.
James Shaw?
Housing market.
That was James Shaw, Marama Fox and David Seymour. Quick fire questions. They will debate at length and in depth after 6.